Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today we are going to be talking about the new Odion cards that just got revealed today, and how you can make it and some combos you can do and go over what the cards do. These cards come out in Maze of the Masters, and I am very excited for these cards. If you've been familiar with the channel, I have been complaining about TCG exclusive archetypes being like borderline unplayable with not even like a goal a lot of the time. Seems like they are switching the route of how these cards are designed, which I'm very happy about. Between these and the Mitsurugi cards, I am very happy with how TCG exclusive archetypes have been made. So overall, this is a big positive for me, and I'll show you why. I'll go through the cards, and yeah, again, I'll show you like a little sample deck list and little combos at the end that you can do. So yeah, without further ado, if you enjoy, please subscribe and we can jump right into this. Okay, guys, so in Maze of the Masters, there is 10 new Odion themed cards that are in it that are TCG exclusive, so we get to play with them first before the OCG does, and they just had their effects revealed, and let's just go over what they do very quickly. We have Man with the Mark. If it's normal or special, you can take a Temple of Kings or a spell or trap that mentions it from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can only use the effect once. While you control Temple of the Kings, this card and Apophis monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Temple of the Kings you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. And then we have a new field spell, Treasures of the Kings. When this card is activated, you can set an Apophis trap from your deck. Its name becomes Temple of the Kings while it's in the field zone, and then once per turn, if you have 2 or more set cards on your field, or a trap is in your graveyard, you can add 1 monster that mentions Temple of the Kings from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 per turn. Next up, we have the Anubis of the Last Judge, the level 10 Fiend. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summon from your hand or graveyard, while you have 3 or more cards in your graveyard with different names that are Temple of the Kings and or traps by placing 2 of them on the bottom of the deck in any order. That is a mouthful, but it's really not that bad. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 the Man with the Mark from the deck to your hand. If a spell or trap card you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use each effect once per turn. Obviously, Man with the Mark was the first card. Next up, we have this continuous trap card, Apophis of the Serpent. Special summon this card as a normal monster, reptile with a pop of 1800 attack and 1600 attack and 18 defense. Still treated as a trap. Then you can set 1 Apophis trap from your deck. Except itself, it can be activated this turn. That is huge. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 embodiment of Apophis from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Next up, we have the 1 Merciless Scorpion of Circuit. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summon from your hand by banishing 1 level 10 or higher monster from your hand or deck while you control Temple of the Kings. So that's going to be the Anubis. You can also play other cards, but for my build right now, at least I haven't found anything that's better than the Anubis itself. Once per turn during your main phase, you can add 1 Temple of the Kings or 1 spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the destroyed monster's original attack. So again, this is kind of like a search requirement, we'll say. I don't think that you want to max out on this card because you need to have Temple of the Kings already on the field to get it. So I think this is just like a one-of requirement, just like a bridge to search as an additional body. And that's it for the cards that I am actually playing in the main deck. Going to the extra deck cards, we have 1 copy of Divine Scorpion Beast of Serikit. It's just 1 Serikit monster, then a monster with 2500 or less attack. If this card is special summoned or at the start of the damage step, if a card battles an opponent's monster, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish it, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the banished monster's original attack. You can only use each effect of it once per turn. Can make a second attack during each battle phase while a level 10 or higher monster is banished. Yeah, this card's like not that great. I'm not like too worried about this. Like this slot also for the extra deck can just be completely replaceable because you just are never making this. The real fusion monster you're going to be making is Divine Serpent Apophis. This card is nuts. 2 monsters that mention Temple of the Kings must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing 2 Apophis monsters. So the Apophis monsters you're going to be tributing is the Serpent and then the Swamp Deity, or if you play embodiment of Apophis, you can use that as well. And then once per turn, you can target up to 3 Apophis traps with different names in your graveyard, set them. Once per turn, if a trap card is activated, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. This is a crazy card. The fact that you're able to summon this, reset the things that you use to summon it, is so free. It's the craziest value. It also works as an interruption. It is ridiculous how strong this card is. I am so happy we got this card because it actually it's the only fusion that's like really good in my opinion. Next up, we have the cards that I find less desirable. These are the cards that I'm not playing, but they also came out with it. We have Defense of the Magic Temple, or Defense of the Temple. Fusion summon one Earth fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. If you use a monster you control that mentions Temple of the Kings, you can also use face-up monsters your opponent controls as material. If you control Temple of the Kings, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Dangers of the Divine from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Defense of the Temple once per turn. You're probably wondering, what is Dangers of the Divine? Well, here it is. Dangers of the Divine. Pay half your life points, then tribute one monster. Special summon one Winged Dragon of Ra from your hand or banishment, ignoring its summoning conditions and making its attack and defense 4,000. But it cannot attack. Also, during the end phase of the next turn, it is returned to the hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, choose one the Winged Dragon of Ra in your monster zone and send all other monsters on the field to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of the Dangers of the Divine once per turn. As bad as this card definitely is, I think it's kind of cool that you are able to, as a quick play spell, being able to special summon out the Winged Dragon of Ra, not from your deck, from your hand or banishment, I think it was, and then immediately trigger the second effect because now there is a, Winged Dragon of Ra on the field. So you are able to immediately just send all other cards or send all other monsters on the field or the graveyard. This is kind of cool. It's like a good interaction, like if it resolves. Like if you set it and there's a Winged Dragon of Ra banished, this is like very scary. You're just like being a send away board wipe essentially. And then the last card that we got was Verdict of the Anubis, which is a counter trap. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card where you control 3 or more other spell or traps, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then if you control Temple of the Kings, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the total attack of those monsters destroyed. So very strong if it resolves, but my problem with this card is it resolving. Having 3 or more other spell or trap cards is kind of crazy, even in today's metagame. Yeah, so that is it for all of the new cards. But there is a couple cards that I want to talk about that are not in the deck that I did not put in, that are Odion themed, they're not bad cards, but I just don't think they make the cut currently. We have Statue of the Anguish pattern, which is a trap monster, which is pretty much when you special summon another trap monster on the field while this is here, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. Pretty strong. You have one copy. I have Swamp Mirror also. This is something that you can use with something like Harpy's Featherstorm, where you can special summon it as a wind beast and be able to flip Harpy's Featherstorm on your opponent if you get to this card through things like the Rabbit. And then we have one embodiment of Apophis, of course. One copy of Pharaonic Advent. This is a older card, older super rare, I believe. I think it was also in the tins. But yeah, it tributes a monster, special summon itself in the hand, and then you can tribute a fairy, fiend, or reptile to add a continuous from your deck to your hand. But you can't special up for the rest of the turn, which really limits what this card can do. And then lastly, we have Koron, the Clear-Sighted. When it's normal summon, you can set a continuous trap from your hand or graveyard. It can be activated this turn, and then if it's sent to graveyard, you can activate this effect. Face-up trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects until the end of your next turn. This is probably the best out of the bunch for this deck, or the statue, these two, I would say. Just being able to set the Apophis trap and activate it immediately is big. But the problem is you want your normal summon used on the man with the mark, not the what's it called, the Coridon. So it's kind of hard. And they really did pick attributes and types where there's not a lot of synergy for these cards, unfortunately. So I was trying to find something that you could use to either search the Anubis or search the Man of the Mark, but I can't find anything right now, unfortunately. Maybe I'm wrong, but the only real way to get this engine started from other generic means seems to be through the field spell, because I can't find another way to do it currently, at least. So maybe there's another one, I don't know. But yeah, that's why I'm playing Pot of Extravagance and just 3 of everything in the bottom. I think you could also play things like Charmers, Access Codes, Selene, especially because this is a spellcaster. So that could definitely have a home in here. And then, of course, we have the other trap monsters as well. This Azarin Statue, I think, is just a really good card overall. This card is just so strong. And then Apophis of the Swap Deity. This card is crazy. During the main phase, you can special it as a normal, and then you can negate the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of other continuous traps you control till the end of the turn. So this Apophis of the Serpent sets up the Apophis of the Swamp Deity so well. It's pretty much it's not Omni-Negates, but it kind of is Omni-Negates. I don't know how else to describe it. Being able to target and negate anything is very, very good. So, and it's not once per turn also. That's the biggest thing to me. This is not a once per turn thing. So if you have 2, if you play 3 of them, you can do that. And it just, there is a line where you get to more than one of these. So something to keep in mind. Also, these all come out as normal monsters. That's why I'm playing Wing Spider. None of these are actually effect monsters, funny enough. So you get to go in the Wing Spider and make into SP Little Knight, which I think is worth it. And then I have 2 copies of Temple of the Kings. You actually need this in a lot of the combos because you need this to be able to flip up your Apophis of the Serpent on your own turn, so that you are able to make the fusion on your turn 1, which is just insane. I really wish we were able to use the second effect of this card, but unfortunately you can't. Obviously there's none that I can, because there's no way I'm playing the Serpent, because the Serpent it has to use the original Mystical Beast circuit, and that card is so bad. It is literally, might as well be a vanilla monster. So yeah, we'll see. So for now, that is my first iteration of this deck. This is just, I hope this deck evolves and changes as time goes on, but I think getting a trap deck in modern times is actually pretty cool, and all the traps are really searchable, so you can be able to end on a strong end board without needing to lose hand traps and stuff like that. But we're still playing a lot of hand traps in here, right? We have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 hand traps in here. And my biggest fear overall, at least right now, is consistency, because we really only have 10 ways to start our lines, right? And you always need a spell or trap alongside our combo to be able to make them 1-card combos. So just something to keep in mind again. So yeah, that is it for the actual deck. I want to go ahead and show you guys just a couple of combos that we can do with starting with any of these, because they should all work at the top of my head. So let's go ahead and jump into those. Okay guys, so the first combo is going to be Man with the Mark plus any trap. This also doubles for Anubis, because this just searches the Man of the Mark anyway. So just something to keep in mind. So we pretty much have 6 copies of Man with the Mark. So what you're going to do is normal summon Man of the Mark, activate the effect, and we are going to use this to grab the field spell, the Treasures of the Kings. This card is so good. You're going to activate this and set a Apophis trap from the deck, and that is going to be the Serpent. So now, this is where we need the second actual trap to be able to set it, or this could be a spell card too, just anything to set, and you can use the second effect of this card to be able to grab any monster that mentions Temple of the Kings. So this is where we are going to need our Scorpion, and now we can special the Scorpion since we have Temple of the Kings, and banishing our big guy from deck, because he's just a level 10. Excuse me, he'd be level 10 who meets that requirement. And now that he's on the field, you can add a Temple of Kings or a spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. So now we are going to actually grab the original Temple of the Kings, because this card's effect is crazy still. From here, you actually can move stuff around if you really want to, but you can actually just go these 2 and summon the rabbit right now, because that's what they're going to be going into anyway. Use the effect, and then this is going to set any continuous trap that you want, so you have plenty of options here. I am just going to set this Azaroon, but this could be anything. This could be a piece of your M board. Now you can activate the Temple of the Kings, and you can flip up your Apophis of the Serpent. So that's going to move this up, and then you are able to set another Apophis from your deck. So you're going to set Apophis of the Swamp Deity, and then because of the Apophis of the Serpent, you're able to activate it this turn. Whoopsie. So you are going to activate it and be able to push this up as well. And then you can send both of these to the graveyard so that you can summon out the Divine Serpent as Apophis. And then you are able to use his effect to target up to 3 Apophis traps with different names in your graveyard and set them. So you are going to set the Swamp Deity, and you're going to set the Serpent. So this is pretty much going to be your M board. This is really good. This may not look that great, but I promise you this is a crazy M board. So just for retrospect, you can summon out any of these trap monsters and declare the rabbit to be able to pop or spell or trap. Also, when you summon out a trap monster, not even a trap monster, but any trap card is activated, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. So it's another pop. So you have 2 pops here. When you summon out the Serpent, you are able to set another copy of Apophis of the Swamp Deity, which again, this card is not once per turn. So from here, you are also able to have 2 pseudo negates from these 2 Apophis of the Swamp Deities. So you can negate 2 things your opponent controls. And then also you have this Azaroon that can be used to negate the summon of an inherent. But this could also be that other trap monster that I showed you earlier, any of the other ones. Like if you have the one where every time you summon a trap monster, you pop a card on the field, that would be 3 pops in addition to what we already have, which is just insane. So yeah, that is it for this 1-card combo. one card, a 1.5 card combo, because you need any spell or trap. Obviously, this purge is just sitting here. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. The fact that you have that. My only complaint is that it takes up all your spell and trap zones. So that's why you need things like Dominus Purge and normal hand traps in this deck, not just trap cards, right? Like you literally run out of room. It's ridiculous. But yeah, let's just go ahead and just see what happens if you start with Treasures of the Kings as well. It should get you to the same point. Okay, so like I said, we are going to start with Treasures. So we're going to activate Treasures to be able to set Apophis. So we are going to set the Serpent, and then we are going to set our Infinite Impermanence, and then we can activate our Treasures of the Kings, and we're going to use that to be able to grab the, what's it called? The Man with the Mark. From here, we're able to summon the Man with the Mark and activate his effect, and that is going to let us grab our Temple of the Kings. Where is it? Thank you. So the only problem here is that you are losing the Scarab guy, because you can't go, because all these cards search like a little bit differently. So this one adds a monster, this one adds a Temple of the Kings or a spell or trap that mentions it, or you can grab the Scarab guy, who I talked about earlier, but he only gets Temple of the Kings or a spell that mentions it very specifically. So you can't use this to get like the monsters, which is a huge downside. So just something you have to keep in mind if you're playing this deck. You could also get this guy, I guess. What's it called? So you can use like this to get to the Anubis. So you can like pitch Anubis if you want to here, and then just get Man of the Mark. So now you have him in the graveyard, just so if you want to bring him back later. Yeah, but now you have Temple of the King, so you can do the normal, flip up the Apophis, and then use that to set the additional Swamp Deity. And then from here, you can activate the Swamp Deity. And then you can send the two to the graveyard to summon out the Divine Serpent. And if I remember right, you have to shuffle back 2 cards. What's it called? That require Temple of the Kings. And or traps are placing them 2 in the bottom of the deck. Yeah. So like you would have to get him in the graveyard. So if you link off into like Amirage, you could bring this back, and then you can sacrifice like one more thing if you wanted to. Obviously I'm like kind of free flowing with this right now, but if you wanted to, you can go like Amirage, put back the Man with the Mark and the Apophis of the Swape Deity, and then get him back, and then use his effect to reset the Apophis of the Serpent, and then you were able to use Amirage plus the Anubis to summon out the Rabbit if you wanted to, and then use that to set, an additional trap. So the only difference for that line would be you have one less, what's it called, trap set, or you can just not go Rabbit and just get these 2 back right here, and then you just don't have the Rabbit set. But you still have like a lot of interruptions here, which is crazy. Or you can make Rabbit off these 2 to still get the extra pop, which again, I just feel like there's so much that you can do here. Rabbit effect, set the angel statue, if I can find it. Here's the Azaroon. So yeah, you have like a lot going for you. And then again, if like this is also just like late game, you have so much late game with this card because of the Anubis. Like once you get one Anubis in the graveyard, I feel like you are just set forever, because you were able to just keep recycling your cards back into your deck over and over and over again. So yeah, that is pretty much it. There's like one combo with just the field spell, just a little bit worse than if you open up Anubis or Man with the Mark, but it's still really, really strong and a lot of interruptions. Like, so literally like 7 interruptions or something. It's insane, like 7 or 8 interruptions, ridiculous. So yeah, overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down below of the new Odion deck, the new Temple of the King strategy, because this is like pretty cool. Like even like lore-wise, I think this is like really awesome to see, and I'm really excited to get my hands on these cards especially. So yeah, let me know down below what you think, and please subscribe if you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.